Yo, what's good, guys? I've been saying for a long time now that I was gonna do a vlog, and it's just never happened. Um, but that's gonna change because this trip to Tokyo actually kind of finally justifies it. Like for this intro, I'm gonna kind of talk about how the first one, two, so August, September, October. I'll talk about just summarize generally how those went because there weren't any major trips or events but people just keep asking me how Japan's going and shit, and it's hard for me to just give a straight answer because there's just so much to talk about. And also um each month, each uh past, there were just different periods of the travel so far, and I'm only going to do one of these, I think, just because I don't think there's a need to do another one now that Tokyo's out of the way. So the way I would describe August was basically self-exploration and orientation, from for myself and the other Americans, and we basically just got set up with the things we need and started figuring out how the town was set up and stuff. Starting to understand how we were going to get our groceries, where we would go at night, you know, trying different uh, international talking groups and crap like that. uh, so we just kind of felt out what we wanted to do with our free time, and we got a lot of free time in August and September. September was now that we basically spent a week in August figuring out orientating ourselves to not just our environment but to how we were going to interact with it. September was and mind you, the European exchange students hadn't showed up at this point, so it was just the American crew basically hanging out, and like the whole university is on they were on break from the end of August, basically when we showed up, to September, just that. It was like a wasteland. like it was just a few teachers for us, and that was it. So we basically had the university to ourselves for a little over a month, and so we had so much free time. And we went to Osaka a couple times because that was the place to be, the place to do things at night. Nara's such a big city, but it's at nighttime it's so quiet. It's at nighttime it gets really quiet, and so during the time of September we just we had so much free time, we just kept going out. So that just kind of summarizes September, really. It was basically just oh god, we have so much free time. What do I do? I don't know what to do. So we just had to keep making things up to do, and we did. And then October, European exchange students show up. We have events for some optional, some mandatory for international exchange students and current students to mingle and stuff. So, and classes started really picking up, and we started learning a lot more in all of our classes. So I feel I was starting to actually understand Japan for once, because in September I just felt I was just turning Japan into America 2.0 kind of. So I was glad that the classes started picking up, so I could actually learn some things. And that kind of brings us to the beginning of November, and it was all on all of our bucket lists. Me and three other American students decided we were going to go to Tokyo. And one thing that one of them mentioned to me, which is true, is we all started clicking up, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, I started thinking I kind of like you. My friend group's small, and it was also just because we showed up in August, so it's hard at that point to integrate new people and be "Oh, you come with us," and we'll all just it definitely impacted how we all arrived at different times and have different classes and interests and stuff like that. So it was just the four of us in Tokyo, but so I'm gonna go over these pictures that I have here, that I've had here for 4 minutes now. but I'm just gonna use them as reference points to just talk about like each thing that we're looking at. So because I could just post these pictures up, you guys be like, oh, like he was there for a sec, like, oh, that's so cool, or oh, it's gay. I don't know, it's dumb. Um, but that's why I kind of like don't want to just post the pictures. I really just want to like talk about each thing and like what was going through my mind. This might be a really long video, and I'm sorry. Um, but this first picture is before we actually left. We left like at night, and it was supposed to be like an overnight trip. So we had to leave through Osaka because Nara's so small, and this is like a big bus company, and they only deal with like the bigger cities like Kyoto, Osaka, and so we decided to take a train to Osaka, and we left at night, stayed on the train overnight, and this is the building we left from. This is an image of it from the distance, and this next one, we all went to the convenience store because we knew we were going to spend so much money in Tokyo, right? And of course we did. And there were so many restaurants nearby. And at this point in the trip, because it's already November, we already realized like how much like it costs to do all this stuff. So we got this convenience store, Tall Boys. We all got something different actually, but we kind of like made it our little thing to toast to heading out to Tokyo. And that's me being like, oh my god, it's happening. But yeah, that bus ride was horrible. That bus ride was wicked bad. My neck like just like it didn't want to cooperate. There was like there was no right position. It was just gonna keep like getting like pinching nerves and crap like that, and the muscles were getting weak. But we got there. This is the first thing I see. So I was like, boom! Like it kind of reminded me of Washington D.C. It was like really dark, as you can kind of like tell right now. We went to that McDonald's in the corner. I don't think I took any pictures in there. Oh wait, no, I did. There's one picture of me drinking coffee that I posted to Twitter. We didn't really hang out here too much. We just kind of like moved around. This is just a Denny's. The thing about Denny's in Tokyo, which is crazy, was we didn't go to Denny's, of course. We really tried hard to only have cuisine that was like unique to Japan. Like we didn't really want to go to like Burger King or McDonald's, so we avoided Denny's. But the weird thing about Denny's, just specifically Denny's, I looked into one of like through the window when we were walking by one of them because there's a lot of them in Tokyo. There's like none of them in Nara or Burger King for that matter. Just like certain fast food places exist in Tokyo. Anyways, it's like it was so fancy. It was like you know how Denny's is. Like we know how Denny's is, right? We know how Denny's is. It's not like a dining experience, but in Japan they try to make it be like that, which is kind of like crazy to me. We didn't actually go into this Sega store. I was just in that mode where I'm like, oh, this is such an amazing experience. Pictures everywhere. Just take all these pictures. But I started realizing, and this has kind of always been my philosophy, I don't take too many pictures, and the reason I don't is because I want to have those experiences, and then capturing them on like a device, it comes second, because I'm devaluing the experiences that I'm having if I'm just like constantly like trying to be like this. Like I'm just seeing it through this. Then I'm not like experiencing the world around me like as much as I want to. But I'm glad I have. Like it's still important to take some pictures, but just as reference points. Like these are all just reference points to me. This is our first meal in Tokyo. We got like vending machine food, so you just like put the money in, you get a ticket out, and you give it to the guy at the cashier or the like register or whatever. He's the cashier at the register. Hold on, I'm gonna pause the music. I'm sorry if you heard it in the background. Okay, so that we got that little like breakfast. I got like noodles or something. I don't know, whatever. And then we finally like made our way to the hostel after like walking and training around for, like moving from train to train because there's just like the system in Tokyo is like a big metro web, and then you do like be careful about what line you're on. So we put our bags in our room. And so I just started taking more pictures of like interesting things. Like I thought it was just like I don't know what that is, but it looks cool. It's like some little penguin guy going on like top of the moon, and I was just like, that's interesting. This is the first like temple monument type thing that we saw. We actually like saw a crap load of those. We had so much time. This is like over a 3 day span in Tokyo, or 4 day, including this day, 4 days. This is like the most famous temple I think that they have there. There's not really much else to say. I mean, it was huge. It was like, this is like the main like shrine like area, I guess. I wasn't really sure what was going on. I mean, it's like, it's just Buddhist stuff, spiritual significance. Lots of souvenirs, of course. They got to make that cash, that bread, that swag bucks. First thing we decided to do, because we were walking, like we hit up that temple, but we were also heading towards Akihabara because they decided that the first thing we were gonna do is just like get the nerd crap out of the way. Which, fair enough. I actually didn't suggest it. I mean, but I obviously wanted it, and this is the first store that we get to. Also, I didn't really explain this picture. It was just like, it was just like a cool little highway area, and we were walking across, and I was like, click. I saw this action figure, and I was like, oh my gosh, they have Your Lie in April. It's like my favorite anime, so I was just like click. And then I know Jake would like this one. Jake's like one of my friends from Lockhaven. We watched this anime together, and so we always had like little we had like inside jokes based around it. This is the first thing you kind of see when you get through the main. This is like the main square of Akihabara. They had so many maid cafes. We actually ended up eating at one. Like, not too proud of it, but it ended up happening. And of course, like the prices were kind of jacked up a bit. But you live and you learn. They had this. This is actually like a chain, but they had an Akihabara, so it's just like, oh my gosh, so nerdy. They had an Excelsior Cafe, right? We actually never went in one. I'm sure it's pricey. Like, I'm just looking at the menus outside. It's not really interesting to me. We were gonna eat here at this Gundam Cafe, but the prices were so ridiculous, like even compared to maid cafes. We were just like, and they weren't even dressed up in like Gundam uniforms or anything. So we were just like it's not really worth it. It's not really worth it. We went to one arcade and we played Pokken tournament. We had one female student with us, so we knew like this probably wasn't like her cup of tea. But nonetheless we played around. Sizzler's like the new character, I guess, in the game, so I was like hyped for that. We found a Super Potato. That's what this picture is from. I saw like these old school games in the boxes, and I was just like, what? I have so many videos from Akihabara, but I might say that. Actually, I'm not gonna say that for the end. There's not really much to say about Akihabara besides it just has all like the nerd stuff, anime stuff. The next destination then after Akihabara was this small area that has like, it's like the fashion district. This picture's from the fashion district, and everything there is just like so like fashionable. I don't know how to put it. Like everything was just like clean, and like everyone looked clean, and it was all about status. So this building kind of like, I don't know, displays that perfectly. I mean, I didn't really take that many pictures. We went to a Bathed Ape like clothing store, and apparently that's like the big thing in Japan, is like the that's like the #1 fashion place. I saw Pub Cardinal. Cardinals go Cardinals. And then that was pretty much it for that day. One other thing to mention, but I didn't take a picture of it. We went to a bar in the hotel, and the thing about being in that hotel was there's a lot of European people, so it was good. It was a good place to mix and mingle with people from other countries. I mostly just talked to a Danish couple, or not Danish, sorry, Dutch couple. They were really cool. The guy was like really fun to talk to. He was like super, just like outgoing, I guess. So the trip definitely worked out for him, I'm sure. Day 2, we take a train to Nikko. It's called Nikko. It's a town that's like 2 hours north of Tokyo. So this is just a couple shots from the train. This is one of the first pictures I saw, or that I captured when we got there. The nature there was just so beautiful. Like it's such a huge tourist attraction. I took several of those. There's King Trident. I thought that was cool. He's like has a little scepter, like King Trident. So I don't like. I didn't really care who he was or like what he did in his life. So this is like going up towards like the mountain towards these temples. There's a pagoda. There's like a huge stretch. Like there's so much walking. We walked so much during this trip. Here's inside one Buddhist temple. This is actually a grave thing. Like I think this is for a leader that was in one of the wars of Osaka from 1500s, like the popular Civil War. So that's cool. He's a cool guy, I'm sure. That was just a cool pic. We went. This is like a proper Buddhist temple. I didn't get too many pictures from it. These are just some pictures. Not much else to say. And then the cool part about this trip, in my opinion, was we took this bus way up the mountain, like over 1,000 meters up the mountain. And I took this picture because that was like the tallest thing there. It was like there was like a town, 1,000 meters above sea level, and like on this huge mountainscape, and like it just kept going. I thought that was so cool. The big attraction there was these falls. Like you'll see some of these pictures. What else is there to say? I mean, it's just gorgeous, so beautiful. That picture didn't turn out well. There's like a stream there, and I was just like, wow, that's so cool, because it was just on such a steep incline. I was too scared to go to the ledge to take this picture. I was just like being a baby the whole time because I don't like vertical drops, like straight vertical drops. They're just kind of like frightening to me. Another picture of that. Okay, so the next day, I'm trying to like roll through this because I'm realizing how long this video is, but I'm sorry. We went to the fish market this day after the Nico trip, and I didn't take too many pictures. It was really cool, and there's like a lot of like small alleyways. I try not to take pictures of food so much now that I got to this one, but because we were in the fish market, I'm gonna get some fish, and damn, this was good. This was so good that I immediately took a picture after the first bite. And then after the fish market, we went shopping. None of us bought anything. We basically just killed like a few hours walking around. So the pictures you're seeing here are just a few pictures from walking around. Two of the international students that I traveled with wanted tattoos, and I saw here. Let me zoom in a bit. Look at this, guys. Paper Mario. I got so excited when I saw this. Look at this. Oh, that would be a sick tattoo. I'm usually are typically against wanting to get a tattoo, just personally, but I saw this and I was just like, what? I was just like, I need it. I want it. But this tattoo parlor only took like appointments. You couldn't walk in, so we were SOL. And before we left, we got waffles. And this waffle, you guys, best waffle I've ever had in my life. It was so good. And we could smell it. Like our noses led us to this place. And even though that cup cost $5 that you're looking at, it was worth every penny. And if I go back there, hold on, I think I have a picture of the place it was called. Yeah, Mr. Waffle. I took a picture of the place, because if you guys ever go to Tokyo, find Mr. Waffle. Find him and hold him down. Be like, give me a waffle, because it was amazing. And then we went back, rested, took a nap, and we went to Shibuya. So this is where the story gets super interesting, because we decided we were going to go clubbing and do a little drinking. I don't have that many pictures from Shibuya, but basically we went. Drinking there was expensive because that's where the foreign nightlife was and stuff. So we got out and we got beer from the konbini. And unless if you haven't figured it out yet, getting beer at the konbini was the cheapest way to get alcohol. And we did a bit of drinking with the konbini. This is outside of konbini. Okay, and then we found a cigar shop, and I got a Cuban cigar, and one of the other students that was with me also got a Cuban cigar, so we were gonna smoke them together. And I was super excited because I hadn't smoked a Cuban cigar yet, even though I bought one, I ended up giving it out. That was from September, so it's that's in the past, or the distant past at this point. But this picture was I just took it because I was so like just I love cigars, man, and I haven't had a lot of chances to smoke cigars since I got here, so I thought that night was a good opportunity. Oh, no, wait, that's the next morning. Okay, so then I have to basically tell the story. We went like conveni hopping, just drinking whatever we could get that was cheap. Went to a bar, talked to a guy from Ireland, and he was like really passionate about the election. And we just like went off. Like him and I just had this like back and forth, and before I knew it, an hour was gone. I just love those like conversations where it's just two people just passioning it out, like just button heads with like we had differences and like interests and like different perspectives and concerns about our country or my country. Uh, but he was invested in it, so he had a lot of like really interesting insight, and he challenged me a lot, and he was a cool guy. Um, and it was awesome hanging out with him. But after that bar, we went to a club called the Vision or Vision or something like that. It was $30 to get in, just like every other club. But we just wanted to go to a club that was like poppin', that was going like ooh ooh, like get down, get funky, and we did. But the problem was, I had my Cuban cigar in my pocket, right? And just because we're in Tokyo, Japan, doesn't mean like everyone's gonna like be a law-abiding citizen. So some guy swooped through my jacket, took the cigar out from the other side, and then just like tuck and ran. And I was so intoxicated at this point that it took me like 3 seconds to react. Like I was dancing and having so much fun that I didn't even want to think about what just happened. Like it did not want to. I didn't want to like dwell on it. And then so we had to drink tequila that night because that was the cheapest thing you could get at the club. It was $5, $5 or $6 for tequila, and everything else was 700. And so we drank that. We just kept being cheap and getting really like messed up. And so I was dancing with a lot of guys. A lot of the Japanese guys that were really like shy. I felt like I was being like the pioneer for that. Like I was just dancing around. I didn't care, and I was just like smiling the whole time and jumping, and like dragging them around, and they were just like, yeah. Like even after my Cuban got stolen, and so then eventually we leave, and we're both like all of us are just so messed up. Um, and we go to a McDonald's, and I find out that the other students had her purse and like some other items stolen. Luckily, she still had her wallet. It was just I think it was like her passport and like some like cards. She had like the foresight to, even though we were intoxicated, to take her wallet out, I think. And Kirby had his cigar stolen from the locker. They all put their stuff in the locker rooms, and like you think that would like work out, um, but that guy stole my cigar. Also, I think also stole from the lockers. I don't know if he was out to get us Americans. I don't know if we were being targeted. I'm not gonna like speculate on that too much. But when we got to the McDonald's, uh, we just like ate terribly, of course. We were all just like so depressed, and I literally screamed. I was so like out of my mind that I just screamed because I was so upset. Not that I lost, like I had my thing stolen, but everyone in the group lost something that was super valuable, more valuable than my thing. My thing was the least valuable, actually. It was less that cigar you're looking at cost less than $20, or yeah, it cost less than $20. So I felt horrible. I felt their pain like so bad, even though I couldn't really feel much. So it was such a bad night. But the funny thing we could take out of this is on the train ride back. Um, I was standing, and I was just like so out of energy because it was 6 in the morning. We're just heading back to the hostel to get 4 hours of sleep and then walk around because we had a checkout time, and then we were gonna get on the bus and go back. So I'm on this like I'm holding on. I'm not sitting on the train, even though it's mostly empty, because I just prefer to stand. uh, and I was just so out of it that apparently, this is according to one of the students, I just like dropped. Like I just like blacked out for a sec and just fell to the ground, and everyone stared at me, and like it was just like so it was so horrible. I had to like stand up and like almost fell on an old guy, and I was just like, "Oh, daijoubu, daijoubu." Like I was just like, "Don't freak out, guys. It's okay. I'm okay." Because everyone was just trying to go to work and stuff, and we're just like being drunk on this train, and I just like fall flat on the ground, just plop, and it was over. And but luck somehow we made it back okay, so it all worked out. Um, Here's the morning after. This is the morning shot. That's one of the students in the bathroom. And yeah, I was so out of it. My eyes are just like glazed. And next morning we got ramen. I like that sign, no ramen, no life. That ramen was so good. It was $8 and it was just amazing. So we walked around. We had to kill a lot of time because checkout was 11, and the bus back to Nara or to Kyoto. Then we go back to Nara. Left at 10:40 at night. So we had basically 12 hours to kill. So we basically just went towards all these attractions. Tokyo Tower, we took a bus there. This is a picture of like the temple outside the outside the big tower, which is basically a rip off the Eiffel Tower. But I was just like, whatever, fuck it, like whatever. This was a cool little park. They had a lot of parks around the tower, which is cool. Here's the temple that's next to the tower. They had a lot of like mascots at the tower, I guess, because they have a lot of tourism there, so they want to like entertain the people. And I mean, just look at this thing. What is this? What are you? There's mascots all over Japan, man. It's like ridiculous. So this is just another mascot. And this was like in the elevator, or right before we got in the elevator. And here's the view from the tower. Really cool stuff. Not really much more to say. You can like the pictures will speak for themselves. I'm actually a little upset that I got pictures of like the tall buildings and didn't try to like get in between. I mean, well, okay, there's a few. Yeah, I just wanted to like see out into the horizon, but it was really hazy and like sunny, so it was like hard to make out some good pics. Pics. I couldn't get some good pics, but that's okay because I still have the memories, man. That's what I said in the beginning. You all know. You know how I feel. I don't know why I'm not using the arrows. And basically the rest of these pictures that you're gonna see are from us walking around. So we found this. This was cool. This is when we took the train to the Imperial part of Tokyo, which is located in the middle of Tokyo. Basically, the way that the city's constructed is Tokyo is like has the Imperial like center, and then everything like comes out from there as if like it's like the sun, and then like all the alleyways and streets and buildings are radiated from the middle. You know what I mean? Like that kind of. I think that's what they're going for. I can't say. I'm not the emperor, but cool fountain, cool trees. Another picture of the buildings from like the Imperial part, and this is like the best picture I can get from like the Imperial buildings and housing or temples, whatever, and the bridge itself. So that's like the last picture, and then after that we got food at a grocery mart and just like ate outside and reflected on the night before that, because that whole club night was just so like we just laughed the whole day. Even though it was a horrible experience, just having our stuff stolen. But I had fun dancing and stuff. It was fun. It was a fun time. Sorry this video ran for 30 minutes, but I just wanted to like kind of put out there like how the experience has really been going for Japan and Tokyo. Tokyo was like so much fun, and yeah, I had an amazing time. I hope you can feel that from from what I was able to like present. It was like a presentation of sorts. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, you can ask me about Japan. Like, I'm sorry that I'm bad about answering these questions, but I don't like talking on the internet, like typing things out. I much prefer like face-to-face interaction, and this is close enough. Like, this is pretty close. I think this is pretty close. This is as close as we're gonna get. I'm so far away from you guys, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll see you guys around. Peace.